Now, what if you wanted to scan more than one photo? Normally, you would place the let's say three photos on the scanner bed. You would make sure you have enough white space around the photo because that's how Photoshop Element works. It would take the white space, divide the photos into three separate photos for you automatically. So, for example, let's use this one in chapter 1 as an example. I placed these three pieces of artwork on my scanner bed. I previewed it, I scanned it, I sent it to Photoshop Elements. It divided it into three separate photos, but unfortunately it would cut off here, would cut off the arm here, would cut off photo here. I then redid it. I changed the photos around. I still had the problem. I don't know if it was the Canon. I don't know if it was my computer or it was the Twain manager. I don't know. So I said, okay, what's a workaround? Well, what you could do is just place the three photos in your scanner and save the image as one image. Then open up your editor by either going to Edit with Photoshop Elements Editor, or right click and choose Photoshop Elements Editor. This will open it up in a window view. Then go to Image, Divide Scan Photos. And instantly Photoshop Elements will divide that one photo into three separate files plus that original photo with all of them. Okay. Now if you notice, it's a little bit hard to see all the photos. We have to move this around. You can see that they're here, but we have to move them around. Well, all these photos are contained in the project bin, and the project bin is all the way down here. If it's closed, for example, you can double click it and open it. If you don't see it, you can go to Window, Project Bin to open it. Now on this one, I did this purposely so you can see this mistake. I got floating windows. My project bin is open, but I can't see my project bin. So how do we fix this? Well, the easiest way to fix this would be to go File, Close All, and do not save any of them. Go back, which would send you back to the organizer. Now, edit with Photoshop Elements Editor again. Make sure your project bin is already open. It is. If it isn't, you just double click on the tab. Try it again. Image, divide, scan photos, and let's see what happens this time. Now we see something different. Now we see our same floating windows here, but our project bin shows those same photos here. And how do we know that? You would just double click on each photo in the project bin and it will show it for you. See? Isn't that great? And there's the original one. Now in the project bin we have two choices. You can show the open files, which are here, or we can just show the files selected in the organizer. Now this is great. You can select files in the organizer and your project bin will display them in the editor for you to work with. I think that's a great functionality. But let's move back to show open files. I still think this can be a little cumbersome, and I think there should be a better way to fix this. Well, in Photoshop Elements there is. We're going to go to Edit, Preferences again, General or Control K, and unselect Allow Floating Documents in Full Edit Mode and see what happens. Click OK. Now all my photos are still there, but now they're in a tabbed view, If you click on each tab, you will see the photo. Isn't that great? So you have two choices. You can double click in the project bin, or you can just check on the tab. Now something I want to talk about. What is this information here in each tab? Well, first it's the name of the file. So for example, let me get the original one. This was the original one. The original one was called scanning divide.tiff. So scanning divide was the name of the photo. It was saved in a TIFF format. It's being shown at 47.4% in an RGB color mode in an 8-bit color depth. And you notice that when it divided into three separate documents, it automatically names it as copy 2, copy 3, and copy 4. Now all these are shown in different zoom levels, you would say. See, one's at 121%, one's at 89.4%, one's at 95%. These are different percents because some of these photos are bigger or smaller, and it's adjusting the size so that you can see it on your screen. in this open area. Okay. But let's say for sake that you wanted to match the zoom on one of the images. You would select that image. So for example, this one. Then you would go to Window, Images, Match Zoom. And instantly, all the other photos that are open are matched to the same zoom level, all 95.9%, just like that. Isn't that great? Now that we have this at 95.9%, it's a little bit too large. What if you wanted to bring this down to a manageable size, you would say? Well, you have some options here. You would click on the zoom tool or press Z for the shortcut. And it tells you, and you can press the minus to zoom out, or press plus to zoom in. Obviously that's the wrong one. You can say fit screen, fill screen, no. Maybe the print size, no. Or you can double click on the zoom tool and that'll bring it to 100%, but 100% is still too big, so how can we reduce it further? Or we can also use this, this little slider here. Personally, I think that's a little bit too hard to do, so first I just say fit screen, and then I'll use the zoom tool, and I'll either zoom in or press the minus and zoom out. I think that's a lot easier. Sometimes it's easier to work with a fit screen to start with, and then zoom in and out to work with. And lastly, the most important thing that you want to do is say File, Close All. Now when you click the File, Close All, it'll bring up the Save As dialog box. So we want to save Scanning Divide Copy To. The format is a TIFF. It could be others, but we want to keep it as a TIFF. Include in the Elements Organizers. If you don't check that, it will not include it, but we want to include it just for now. Include the ICC profile, the sRGB. I'll talk about that later. We don't want to click Save as a copy. And then you would click Save, and this will save it in Chapter 1B. And then with TIFF, you have some more options. Basically, just click OK. But basically, always pick None, Interleave, IBM PC, or if you're on a Mac, and click OK. And then we'll ask you for the second one. You'll say yes. Make sure you have Include an Elements Organizer, ICC profile, yes, none. And now let's go back to the organizer. Click on the Organize icon, top right. And when I click Show All, you can see all of the photos are saved in the location. In the next lesson, we'll talk about the watch folders, but this is only Windows only. Sorry, Mac users.